Hey Gail, so tell me about how you're using AI and a little bit about your business in general when it comes to
Sure.
the state of technology.
I'm a business coach. I'm certified professional diversity coach as well. My focus is on supporting solopreneurs who are change makers in their industry and have a lot to say, a lot to share, but maybe feeling uncomfortable with the marketing side. So along with the coaching, we will help them implement that marketing as well, particularly if they're podcasters or YouTubers. That gives us a lot of content to work with to get that message out there. So as you know, with AI, there's a lot of tools for content creation, content repurposing, how I use AI. And I feel like I'm probably just touching like just the outside skirt of what is possible with the AI, which is why I'm really excited to talk to you about this and learn what you know, or at least get some insight on how I can improve. But I am using ChatGPT a lot. I love it. I've tried other AI programs out there. I've tried Copilot, I've tried Claude, I've tried a little bit of Gemini, Jasper, but I think because I've trained ChatGPT so much into my voice, my business, my ideal clients, that I like its output more than the others. And it could be because I didn't train the others, but since I already like the output, I just stick with it. I don't even have the paid version anymore. I'm happy with it. And so I use it for ideas, for brainstorming, for not necessarily research, but to just look at things a different way. So I'm very matter of fact type of person when I'm communicating. And I know that when we're marketing, we really want to get to the emotional core when possible. What are the benefits of this service, for example, instead of just the features? And my brain just doesn't go there. Has a really difficult time with figuring out things like benefits, emotional impact, and things like that. So I asked ChatGPT to be my human, which is so funny. I know it's so bizarre. It makes things so much faster. Otherwise, I have to do competitor research or client research. You know, when you're supposed to call 50 people and ask them, get their opinion on something. I think it's a wonderful exercise to do, but at my point in my business, I'm more of maintaining and scaling, so I don't necessarily wanna do that at this point. I think if I were to do that level of research, I'd probably hire someone to do it, but I that's not my budget right now either. So I'm using ChatGPT for brainstorming, researching. I'm using it to check my grammar. I used to have Grammarly. Now I just use ChatGPT to check my grammar or to expound something, because again, I'm a bullet point type of person. And then I use this Descript for editing my videos and podcasts. I like how it has the transcript editing feature. So I think they were one of the first video editing software that has that. Now all of them do, seems like. Um, but they just added some AI features that they call Overlord, which I think is a horrible name. It sounds too scary, but it's called AI Overlord, and you click a button, and they already had the feature where it would remove filler words like ums and likes and so on. But now it has other features in the over the system too. For example, you can click on highlight and it'll create a highlight reel from your podcast or your video. So I like this Descripts tool as well. And I still have Opus Pro. I thought I might delete it because Descript has similar features now, but Opus Pro is so much faster. So if the original video was filmed in a way that can be easily turned to a vertical video, Opus is great. If not, like one of my clients is a videographer and he's still filming everything landscape mode, which you know you do want your videos to be, but as you know, with reels and shorts and so on, it's got to be vertical. So Opus doesn't do a great job with his work. So I use Descript for that. And that might be it when it comes to AI. At the same time, AI is built into everything now. So who knows where else it is that I'm not even paying attention to.
I love that summary. I can go deep on each of those tools you talked about and the pros and the cons and some of the wish list things that I have for those types of technologies. What's interesting though, what you just said, is it ties in with a conversation that I think a lot of us are having, and I can predict that this is going to be one of those things we laugh about another 5, 10 years from now. But the conversations that we have now, that the large language model AI has been around for at least 3+ years in mainstream, is that people will tell me, well, I will never, ever do AI. And I will be like, I'm sorry to break this to you,
It's already
but
been here.
it's been
Yeah.
around under the hood. And, and the other thing and this is why I take it upon myself to educate myself and then also then pass along what I learned to others, which is that large language model type AI has been around but evolving for quite some time under the hood. It just became more mainstream in terms of copywriting in recent years.
Right.
But
How many
as
years has it? I mean, has it been like 10 years or more?
for large language models,
Mm-hmm.
the evolution, I want to say, really has been much longer than that because the one of the foundational bases for AI is natural language processing and the
Yes.
study of languages. And so then that became how these technologies came to be because it's when you study language, from there you can study how to create systems that make optimizing on creating copy
Right.
easier. So as you know, my background is AI, and I
Mm-hmm.
never used it. I was told when I got my bachelor's degree, it was like, what do they call it? Like when they refer to the Wild West, and it was like the new the, like I was out there in college and I was getting a degree in computer science, and that movie War Games had come out when I was in junior high,
Yeah.
and so I was fascinated. I was a really good coder at a young age. And so, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'll become a computer scientist. No, I didn't like it because those early years, I think people were still learning how to teach programming. And
Yeah.
and it was the languages were really hard. Doing it was really, really hard. You had to be really good at science and math. And while I was pretty good, I didn't enjoy being in a lab coding.
Mhm.
That was not my personality. So when I came out of college, I'm like, I like this other thing that there was no label. It was again new, but what is now called user experience.
Mhm.
And so I chose software design, and then AI was something I also got a focus on. They were calling focus in those days, where you had to focus in one or two areas.
Mhm.
When AI became popular in the last 3 years, I literally didn't pay attention. And I think I spoke to you about the chat GPT part. And I was like, okay, well, chat GPT, what is it exactly? I'm not paying attention to these new mainstream tools. I have Grammarly. Like I seriously, and then somebody said, just download it and try. You can throw anything. Okay, this is exactly what happened. Somebody said to me, you can throw anything into it and it'll give you something back. I'm like, well, I'm working on a blog. Let's see.
Uh-huh.
I literally copied my blog into it and said, can you summarize my blog? And
Mhm.
it came back because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't quite understand
Right.
the premise. So I did it and it came back and crashed. And like I killed Chat GPT. But it wasn't until about then I started to really feel, and this goes back to our bigger conversation. How do I streamline? How do I optimize
Mhm.
my time? Where do I want to get better with refining my day so I'm focusing on my why? Because I'm really passionate about being focused on having a life where I'm not a slave to creating a copy.
Right.
Original thought and creativity, yes, but
Mhm.
not to refine, like how do I re-say that so that that post for that Instagram will be optimized for viewing. that's
Yeah.
BS to me.
Yeah.
So that's why I started to study these tools better or use them.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
can't say, I mean, there are a lot of people who were in the game early. They're probably experts. And I think you are probably in that league because you do use a lot of these technologies.
Yeah. I feel like I'm not, because I'm not trying the next new thing, but that's not my AI is not my business. So I don't want to try the next new thing. I want to see what other people are doing. I'm not an early adopter. I'm kind of in the middle of the road. I want someone else to waste their time with it
Yeah.
and then tell me, okay, here's the best way to use it, and then I'll learn it. Because I would rather they do the hard part. And when they say, oh, this is the best one to create clips for reels, I'm like, okay, I trust you. I'll
Yeah.
use that until someone else says, oh, this is better than Opus, or this is better than the script. And I say, okay, prove it. Because I don't have time to experiment. That's what other people, that's their job, that's their business. But if it does save me time, I will. But yeah, I'm just using it for mostly brainstorming, content repurposing, refining things, making me sound more human. In the written word, I think I do well with video and talking, which is why I love podcasting. But otherwise, I'm just using it as a way to get through any kind of analysis paralysis when it comes to things like the written word.
Yeah, you just mentioned two things that are for sure how I feel like I use it. One is the analysis paralysis, using it as a sounding board because
Yeah,
it is really helpful. Like I will, as a creative person, there's probably 100 different ways I'm trying to do something to further the needle in my business, and having something just have a sounding board and coming in with iterations of that copy is
hmm.
helpful. But going back to the other thing, like bringing in the human aspect into our business, you mentioned the word, I think, authenticity or being authentic. I feel like what we can do is use it as a basis, but then teach other people how to remain authentic while using that technology.
Right. I think video and podcasting is can't be replaced, at least not at this point. I mean, they are coming up with these people avatar things, but they look fake. And I think that's something to, I don't know, necessarily be concerned about. I don't know if that's the right word, but I- I'm less likely to read content that's coming from a content mill and they're just spitting it out with ChatGPT, but a video or a podcast, that's something that's going to grab someone because they can see you and they can see it's the words coming out of your mouth. And I think that's where that authenticity can come from. And then you could use AI to do the distribution and clips and all that kind of stuff.
Well, interesting. We're going to have a deeper conversation in another podcast, but I tied this desire of being more streamlined
Mhm.
with using AI in the right ways, still maintaining my authentic voice, with the desire to not have to be camera ready all the time, because that alone can be exhausting.
Yeah.
Look, as an entrepreneur, I don't know about other people, but usually you find me in
Especially for female entrepreneurs. I mean, we are judged by our looks.
we are.
And I have been told, because I didn't always wear makeup. I do now because I'm getting older, my skin doesn't look as great, but I was judged. Someone would told me straight to my face that they didn't think I looked professional enough because I wasn't wearing makeup. So
Yeah,
those are the kinds of things that if they're not saying it to you, they're thinking it. But
yeah,
what's cool about AI, I'll give another tip, is Zoom has built-in makeup.
it
I
does.
do have real makeup on right now, but sometimes I don't, and I just turn on the makeup on Zoom.
I'm gonna have to turn on the makeup function. So, yeah, absolutely. And I was once told when the lighting wasn't appropriate in my office, or I just hadn't turned it on. I have one of those um,
Mhm.
recording lights that, you really should have. it's going to make an impression or lack of a.
Yes, yeah.
But
Yeah.
so on that note, though, I've started to use something called syllabi,
Oh
which
yeah,
allows
tell
you to
me
do
about this.
faceless video
Yeah.
with AI, and you can train it with your voice. And it does sound like me, my own son would be. I did a quick little meditation and put it out there on YouTube. It's my voice, my
I
meditation.
watched it. I
Oh,
didn't
did you?
realize that was AI.
That
Oh,
was
that's
AI.
so
It
cool.
was
It
with
does
my
sound like you.
voice. Yeah, oh, it did sound like me.
Hmm.
Good. Yeah, and so I thought, can I take it one step further? There are a lot of videos where I want to teach people how to optimize using systems, but
Hmm.
I don't want to be on camera all the time for reasons we
Right.
just talked about. So why not use faceless video AI that
Hmm.
looks like me? It is my voice, it's my script, everything is original.
Hmm.
However, I didn't have to go through the labor of putting myself on camera all the time.
That would be great for me because, as I mentioned in a previous episode, my daughter is often in the next room and she's got the TV blasting or video game playing or something like that. So I can't record video. But if I have an AI version of my voice, the script does this as well, is that you can train the script to be able to make an AI version of your voice, type in the script, and it would use that. But I didn't know, I didn't even think of, oh, I could put it over B-roll so that it creates the video. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Well, maybe that will be our next episode. I'll show you how I did it. You
Okay.
do it, and then we'll go deeper into that, okay?
Okay. Sounds good.
Great. Thanks, Gail. Thanks for this conversation today. Really, I had fun.
Thanks, Shilpa. Bye.